Welcome back to the Tripping Off podcast with Zach and Jesse. We're starting a series today, a much demanded series by many people. People are like, will you just talk about this already? And so, ask no more, it's going to happen. And it starts today. This is the love series with Zach and Jesse. And we've kind of broken it down into 4 chapters. And today, let's explore chapter 1, which is going to be attraction is often recognition, which we're going to talk about the subconscious emotional things that play a role in dating, in intimacy, in creating love in your relationships. But I think it can be applied to really any friendship, any even business relationship. We're going to talk about it from a romantic lens, but principles still apply. Good communication is good communication, and subconscious blocks are subconscious blocks.
Absolutely.
So this is all based off of the trauma-focused hypnotherapy newsletter, which if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? We got to make it happen. So reply to those emails, send us an email, send me a text message with your email address, whatever you got to do to get connected to the weekly newsletters that we put out. Because I put so much damn time and energy in those newsletters. And then people message me like, hey, you ever talked about this? Yes, in the newsletter. So text me your email address, 321-430-5966, and let me get you subscribed to the newsletter, because this is really where this started.
Yeah.
Is a newsletter that talked about love, and I'm like, we got to do a 4-part series in the podcast about this. And so today is emotion. But as a teaser for what's coming up, I have it written down. Chapter 2, the nervous system is always listening, which talks about the body and some somatic stuff when it comes to love and romance. Chapter 3, the micro suggestions of everyday romance, which goes into communication and how our communication can actually sabotage our intimacy and connection without even knowing it. This is huge. Often, yeah. Often's a better word.
Can.
And I think I'm excited for chapter 3 because that's going to talk a lot about the things counselors do in the therapy room that they don't even know is creating distance between them and their client and the emotional progress they want to make. And finally, chapter 4, intimacy requires psychological safety. And so we're going to talk about the safety requirements that are subconsciously present inside of relationships that allow for further intimacy. We're going to talk a lot about no's and boundaries in that chapter 4. These topics may be so intense that, we even talked about today. It's like, oh my gosh, attraction is recognition and emotion stuff for the subconscious. That may be a 2-parter. And so, if you're liking it, let us know. Sometimes I do feel like I'm screaming into the void when it comes to writing these newsletters. So any feedback or a specific topic on one of these that you want to see us cover, we'll get to it. But without further ado, roll the intro. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Tripping Off podcast. Quick question. Have you ever sat with a trauma client, done everything right, followed the treatment plan, but something still wasn't reaching them?
Yes. Jesse and I spent our careers working with complex trauma and PTSD, and we kept hitting that same exact wall. That's what led us to hypnotherapy. It's genuinely changed the way we do therapy and the way that we work with our patients and clients.
We built trauma-focused hypnotherapy for people who want better tools for their work.
The course consists of 50 CEUs, fully self-paced, and it's certified with the Department of Health.
It's a protected title, not just another weekend certification course. And we offer group discounts if your team wants to train together. Link is in the description down below. Let's get into the episode. How do we talk about the subconscious emotions inside of intimacy? Ooh, it's good. It's good. I want to start it off with a thought, and we'll go from there. What people will often do is they will often talk about true love. They will talk about love at first sight. They will talk about the way that they just connected with someone, and it's perfect. Their first date, and it was so good. But the problem is that they may actually be finding something they're familiar with, not something that's actually healthy. If you grew up in a system or a life from trauma or whatever, where you got familiar or accustomed to intensity or chaos or lack of boundaries or emotional angst as the barometer for whether you're connecting intimately or not, that is not a stable foundation for love. And so here are all these subconscious things. You're like, oh my gosh, they're perfect for me. They might not be perfect for you. They might just be recreating your trauma environment.
Maybe.
Ooh, maybe often. And so, Zach, what you got to say about that?
Well, what kind of came up when we were talking about it before, but what just came up was last night we like to watch at my house like the reality series about love and partnership, and
like Love is Blind or Love Island.
Yeah.
Man, it's so good.
We love those.
We should do a react video just to an episode. We get copyright striked for showing the content, but
probably. I mean, just one little clip.
We should have a watch party.
Yeah. Have it on the background and just have the cameras like facing us reacting to what's going on.
You remember Mystery Theater 3000? It'd be like that, just our little heads in the front. We're like, what the fucking idiot.
Well, Thea just like looks at me and she's just like, this is just a safe haven for us to work out our deepest, darkest traumas. This is a
reality TV.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and most people don't use it for that. They just what happens is it just validates our unhealthy behavior. But like reality TV is like just a cesspool of mental health issues untreated.
And people try and emulate what they see in the reality TV shows rather than recognizing them as, this is a case study on dysfunction.
Yeah.
Not a model.
This.
Yeah. Not a model for what to do, which is tough.
And they're just sitting here going like, oh, I really have a connection with this person. No, you have a familiarity with this dysfunction.
You got a connection with something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's a connection you think.
No. And I think that's like the biggest thing that comes up in me when we're talking about like the recognition of something. It's like, one of my things that I say with clients a lot when on this topic is, namaste means like the light of the Buddha inside of me recognizes the light of the Buddha inside of you. But then I say like codependence is like the dysfunction in me recognizes the dysfunction in you. And that's so much of what happens. It's like, I for a period of time, and we'll talk about safety later, but I for a period of time feel safe because I know that dysfunction. I know what to do with it. I've been trained or not trained, groomed to deal with that because I had to deal with that as a kid. I had to deal with that in early relationships. I had to be the fixer. I had to be the manipulator. I had to play this role. And now this person is giving me the opportunity to play that role. And so,
yippee! Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. Not good. I want to follow kind of a format as we go through these chapters. I want to talk about 3 key things. What to be aware of, things that a hypnotherapist is aware of that you might be missing, and sort of the warning signs of some of this stuff.
Great.
Then what to do about it. And then kind of like some final thoughts and a wrap up. I think we should kind of follow that. And so in that vein, what I'm thinking about is this is not doom and gloom. This is not if you've done this, you're over. Or if you're in a relationship that started on that footing, it's a bad relationship, you need to start again. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, and to add to that,
please.
I don't like a lot of the Gottman work, but I really do like this mindset. Yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk about that. Okay, chapter 5.
Yeah.
Where the Gottmans got it wrong.
Yeah. But one thing that Gottman is famous for saying is without intervention. They're really great. The Gottman stuff is really great at making predictions about what will happen in a relationship. Always without intervention. So read that, and everything that we're saying right now is this is bad, this is dysfunctional, and the end of that road is doom for the relationship without intervention.
Yes.
And there's so many off-roads that can be taken with intervention.
Yeah.
And so even slight changes. Read that when listen to that when we're talking about this. Is like there's so many things that you can do that seem simple, that can be simple as an intervention to get off of that road.
Yeah, this is a relationship, not a car engine.
Yeah.
There's one right way to fix a car engine. If you don't do it right, you're going to cause damage to the engine.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, the mistakes that we make, which are authentic, are actually really more helpful to make that mistake and then work through it than to just get it right the first time. This came up
Absolutely.
This came up in a group therapy thing. I explained this to my wife. We were in kind of a group therapy setting, and I was talking about some stuff and recognizing that thing that was said in the group wasn't necessarily helpful. And then she would be like, oh my gosh, I did it wrong. And it's like, no. If you had done it right, I wouldn't have come to this realization about myself. And now that I have this realization in this group process, I can advocate for myself better. And I realize some things like, oh, that was well-intentioned by the group and trying to help, but it wasn't actually what I needed. But I, because never experiencing it and trying to figure out myself, now know what it is that I need to ask for and advocate for, where I wouldn't have if the mistake wasn't made.
Absolutely.
So let's just put that out there too. And I'll say, even for my relationship with my partner, we did that. We found each other because we completed the puzzle pieces that were our trauma. But because, we've been married 11 years now and been together for 16. Because we founded the relationship off of the dysfunction and then have had to both grow out of the dysfunction, we are now more intimate than we would have been if we just got it right the first time. Because I've seen her in the worst and she's seen me in my worst and have loved each other and encouraged each other out of it, the intervention.
Yep.
Yeah. So let me just say that. This doesn't mean go divorce or break up with your partner. This is, with intervention, this can be something truly beautiful.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, the foundational encouragement I want to come to the conversation with.
And really the point of all of this is I wouldn't be doing relationship therapy if I didn't believe that.
Yeah.
And relationship therapy is not about trying to fix something in a couple. Relationship therapy is about giving a couple the tools to create the space to where both or multiple parties are sitting here looking at the relationship as what interventions need to be made to get us on a more authentic path.
Right. That's what this has got to be about.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the things that you look for, or what should people be looking for to know, I feel intimate with this person because they are familiar because of my dysfunction or trauma, rather than we're actually on a healthy path?
First thing.
Yeah.
The first thing has to be trances. Just like, what trances are we carrying with us?
How would you notice the trances? Because sometimes, the trances are so subconscious. Yeah. What are these little windows of because they whisper, it's like, hey, something's wrong here. But we usually blow by them.
I think the two biggest indicators of a trance being somewhere, especially in relationships, are wherever I see somebody being rigid.
Ooh, rigid.
Yeah, rigid, reactive.
Help me define that more. Rigid as in?
It needs to be this way.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's when we're looking at a topic of, this is a need I have. You have needs, yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, but it's like the principle of being hangry. I think that most of the time we get hangry because we've never tested our boundaries with food, and our body's just like, oh, we've never gone past this. Need to eat now. I'm gonna be mad at anything that gets in the way of me getting something to eat right now. And I think fasting is a really beautiful tool there. But it's the same thing for emotionally. It's like,
yeah.
You also see it in situations just like, oh, well, my partner never does this. So it's like rigidity when it comes to like overarching identities that we have for somebody else.
So rigidity not only of this is the way the relationship should be, but also rigidity of my partner's just not like that.
Yeah.
So you kind of close off your opportunities with them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I don't like dancing. I have so much trauma around dancing.
Oh.
If my wife comes to me and says, hey, I really want to go dancing, I'm probably going to say yes. Would I ever go dancing?
Do we call that love?
Sure. But like,
I love you enough. I'll go dancing.
when the identity becomes this thing where it's like, I don't like dancing, so therefore I cannot dance. Then that's where the trans is.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sitting with that. The thing that I was going to say, what people should be aware of and watch out for. Oh man, your point was so good. I don't know if I still got mine. When it comes to intimacy and emotions, that's so on topic. I forget the way I was going to say it, but that's
Sorry.
That's it. No, it's good. You know, it has to be loosening some things up. You know, there's a philosopher that I don't know if I like him, but he's a real annoying, frustrating son of a gun. And he says, if you like somebody, then you don't love them. He says it intentionally. He's very good at, you know, rising emotions inside of his audience. And what he means by that is if there's something to gain for you out of loving this person, then you don't really love him. And there's extremes that you can take that. You know, it's not martyrdom, but what he's saying is love, and I say this to clients all the time, love should begin and end in you, right? My love for you is not dependent upon how you behave today.
Right.
I love you because loving you is good for me. It's like altruistically selfish. I love you because loving you is hard, and because the process of learning to love you well makes me a better version of myself than I would have been otherwise. And so I've found it. My full circle thought is the thing I look out for is when people don't argue. And I'm not talking about like fighting. Fighting is not helpful, but disagreements and arguing. I'll get people who talk about their relationships. I'm like, how's your relationship? They're like, oh, it's great. You know, we like hardly ever argue. I'm like, If you're not arguing or having disagreements, then you are probably in a comfortable pattern.
Yeah, or trance.
A trance.
Yeah, you're in a trance of and that one's really difficult to decipher whose opinion the consortium is about. You know, like it's like if we never argue, it's because we have the same opinion about a subject. Well, do you?
Or we just never talked about it or explored it deep enough.
Or did one of you just like change what your authentic opinion about the situation is to take on the other person's opinion so that there isn't a fight?
I just kind of acquiesce.
Yeah.
Well, and there's been times in my relationship where I'm just like, I'm not touching that topic.
Yeah.
And so we don't fight because I haven't shared intimately.
Yeah.
And so I look out for that. Anything else you look out for?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, a big one is
Then we'll get to fixing
couples
it.
counseling. I always challenge couples about how do you deal when one of you is attracted to another person.
Oh,
Yeah, that's always a good one to stir the pot up.
that
real
stirs
quick.
the pot up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sure does.
Like, no, I'm supposed to be the most beautiful person. You're not supposed to be attracted to anybody else, and it's just like, I don't know about that. But how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
How do you process that? How do you communicate about that? How do you have a conversation about that? And is that okay? Like, can you be in a space? We'll get to safety again. Might be getting a little bit ahead of us, but I do use that as a way to kind of measure like rigid ideas about what a relationship should be like, especially in those trances, and then love each other, not in spite of that, but with that attraction. It's like, oh yeah, of course, I can absolutely see how you find that person to be attractive.
Yeah.
But then that next thought is usually, well, then what's going to happen?
Yeah, then I'm not safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
And we'll get to the safety stuff. But yeah, I mean, these are the things to watch out for.
Yeah.
Before we get back to the episode, let me ask you something.
Have you ever sat with a trauma patient, done solid clinical work, followed the treatment plan, said the exact right thing, and you still felt like you were circling the actual problem?
Zach and I lived in that frustration for years. We were licensed, experienced, and trained professionals, still running into the same limitations time and time again. Hypnotherapy was not just a gimmick for us. It was the missing piece that allowed us to target these symptoms directly and work with the subconscious processes that were driving these symptoms.
And that's why we built trauma-focused hypnotherapy. It's a 50 CEU course that is fully self-paced, meant for medical professionals. It's certified with the Department of Health, and so it ties directly to your clinical license.
This is not a weekend badge. It's a protected title, allowing you to do the deeper clinical work necessary to work with those trauma clients. If you care about this field and you're passionate about the work we are doing in raising the standard of mental health care in this field, subscribing to the course does more than just give you the skills that we're talking about. It actually supports us in continuing this work, making this podcast, and teaching other professionals so they can help people live the lives they were always meant to live. The link is in the description down below. Join us and let's build something better together. Now back to the episode. Anything else to add, like to watch out for?
I mean, there's 100 things, but
I think the last thing I'll say is I think real authentic love is creative and explorative. And so I think back to trances, sometimes the whole relationship can be a trance. We just get into a pattern. Because the pattern feels safe, then we don't push outside of the pattern. Now, fortunately or unfortunately for my partner, I have ADHD, which means that I'm always bringing new things that are frustrating and miserable into the relationship. I'm like, we haven't explored this. It's sometimes her feedback, because she has my partner has a high need for safety. Sometimes the feedback would be like, I feel like you're always trying to like sabotage the relationship. And so we've processed through that. But my real heart is, well, I'm not like enjoying making you upset. Like that's certainly not it. What I am looking for is, well, I want to grow closer to you. And so we can explore this new thing together. And then like learn about our differences of opinion and find truth through the lens that each of us are bringing to this relationship. What's more beautiful than that? It's like, that's my desire, but that comes across as threatening sometimes. And so I think people can avoid that perceived threat and try and stay in what's comfortable. We get into this routine. And there's phases of relationships too. I mean, when you have kids and now the kids take up a lot of stuff, sometimes the novelty in the relationship is moving from parenting a 3, 4, 5-year-old to parenting a 10, 11, 12-year-old, which is very different. So that's the novelty. If you don't have children, then the novelty can be, well, changing careers. Let's talk about this. You're gonna have feelings, I'm gonna have feelings. And I guess finally the last thing is, like you said, nuance. You're allowed to have many feelings at the same time. A big one that was a realization for my partner and I as well is I can love you and be frustrated with you at the same time.
At the same time.
And so if we are avoiding that nuance, if we're avoiding that depth, the relationship is probably not headed in the best direction it could be. Exploring, I have many emotional attachments to you. You're frustrating, you're inspiring, you are threatening, but also my safe place. That's what real intimacy feels like. It feels like all those emotions all at the same time, all with one person.
Well, and that's something that we can all, that's a very practical point right there, because it's like some of the most frustrating things about our partners or about people in general are also the most inspiring. It's the same coin, it's just both sides.
Right.
And a lot of times I'll see couples where somebody comes in and they're just like, he's always like this, she never does this. And it's just like, yeah, but it's the same personality trait that makes it so that they have an aversion to doing this that's also so attractive to you. Like what you were saying is like, it's so frustrating. I'll speak for myself instead. It's that my partner has ADHD, and
we're a bundle.
It's it's so frustrating that I feel like I'm sometimes like I'm just always chasing her. Like I feel like sometimes it's just like there's always the next thing that it's like I don't know what I'm even going to come home to. And this thing that I can see the end of that road is going to be some sort of major crisis. And she's got to explore it. That's the same characteristic in her that I enjoy so much, is that she's always bringing new content to the relationship. She's the most interesting person I know. Well, with being the most interesting person that I know comes needing to do a new thing. All the time.
Changes. Yeah. Yeah.
And so what we do about this is we shift that trance from I need the safety on this topic to curiosity, to nuance, and say this is great. Do I need to invest in this? Yeah, okay. I need to carve out some time for it. It is unsafe for me to carve out some time right now and catch up to you on the topic. I can't catch up to you right now.
No. But maybe that's not needed.
Absolutely.
Well, so let's get to that. In the last couple minutes that we've got left, well, we've identified some things to watch out for. Things that when you sit down as a couple in front of a hypnotherapist, we are looking for to let us know if the relationship is on the right track or not. So that way we as therapists can intervene. These are, okay, identified, this couple never fights. Got it. That tells me something important as a clinician, so I can intervene and help this relationship grow into what it can be. What's the practical steps? Like what, now that they've identified some things, what would you suggest to a person that maybe has identified one of these? What do they need to do to start it on the right track?
Being overt, communicative, talking about, looking at, as Nietzsche said, looking into the abyss of one, how does that trance that we just identified, where does it come from?
Yeah.
Sharing that with your partner.
Yeah. Why do you expect the relationship to be like this?
Yeah.
It could be anything, but you expect it to be like this. Okay. Why?
Yeah. I don't want to be your dad.
Where does that come from?
Yeah. I will sit with you as your partner when you were processing things relating to your dad.
Yeah.
And it also helps with the breaking of the trance in real time, which I think is really helpful. Is when your partner knows how you can slide into that trance, if they can do it in a kind and gentle way, it's the perfect way to work through it. You start saying, I don't know why you never do this. More gentle than this, but a reply that's agreed on, which is, I'm not your dad.
Ooh, like anchor points.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about anchors a lot in the course. Yeah. I was going to say the intention that you bring to the conversations. So exploration and curiosity has to be a part of the relationship. Like, keep growing. Life moves by quickly and we change quickly as human beings. And so what worked last week might not work this week.
Absolutely.
What worked in the first 5 years may not work in the next 5 years. So with that being understood, and it should move. If it's not moving, there's another problem. What is the mindset that we need to approach a relationship with? And that has to be trust and respect. If you can't have trust and respect with your partner, it's a non-starter, right? When somebody says, hey, I'm exploring this part of myself, if that is immediately perceived as a threat, or if we have a difference of opinion about how we should do something, that's immediately this giant issue, we have a bigger problem to work with. The relationship should be, wow, that's a really cool perspective. Let me share my thoughts about it, and let's talk about our differences. Well, you think it should be this way. Well, I think it should be this way. Well, where did you come up with that idea that it should be that way? Where did I come up with the idea it should be this way? And then we find the best pieces of what we expect, and we bring just the best and leave the rest. Unintentional rhyme.
It's great.
I think that's got to be the heart. And so maybe that's frustrating because there's not here's your 3-step process, because each person is so nuanced. And so the 3-step process is press into differences, appreciate differences, find compromise. And compromise doesn't look like just ignoring what you need. Compromise looks like, oh, well, now that I have more information because you shared your experience,
Yeah.
there's a better way to proceed.
And
that's compromise.
And what that does too is that process is it creates empathy, because when we're in a fight with our partners, oftentimes what we'll do is we'll be like, oh, they're being that way, which is aggressive towards me. And just having the idea of, oh, I know where this comes from in them, if that creates a certain amount of empathy, then to be like, okay, my partner is not attacking me with this. They're falling into that trance. I don't need to take it personally. Hey, what do you need right now?
Mm-hmm. And I like the way you said that, because it can go both ways. Mm-hmm. Why am I feeling like the victim? That's my stuff. And this person is lashing out at me. That's their stuff. What are they perceiving in me that feels threatening? Because I'm not trying to be threatening. I'm trying to love them.
Yep.
But I'm feeling some intensity. Let me, instead of meeting that intensity, which is the suggestion, right? Somebody comes at you, your suggestion is you should come back at them. But when you meet that with softness and being like, this seems really important to you, and I feel lost as to why you're having this intensity of reaction. Can you walk me through this? Oh, the relationship conversations you're gonna have. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very curious what you all think of this. That's, believe it or not, all the time we've got for this episode. I think we're going to have a lot to explore and to talk about. If you like this work, if you want to support what we're doing and trying to make relationships better and trying to help people's connection, the best way you can do that is by joining the course and signing up to take it. I'm even open if you want, maybe not the full certification, but you want to learn just the personality, relationship, conversational aspects of hypnotherapy. I'd be happy to portion those off, and you could take just the relationship parts, because it is 50 hours long. So send me a text message, send me an email. Let's figure out how to get you connected so you can start to integrate these things in your life, because it helps support our work and it helps us keep making content like this just for you. Anything else to add?
That's great.
I think it's good for today. Ooh, man, just the surface. 30,000 foot flyby. We'll get deeper into it next time. Until then, bye.
Bye.